Hello everybody, and welcome to this new moon in Leo reading. The new moon is going to be with us on the 18th, which is tomorrow from when I'm posting this. It's going to be exact at 10:42 p.m. Eastern Time. So the symbol for this reading, when the moon will be at its optimum point as that new moon destination, this is always a chance for a kind of a fresh slate, clean slate feeling. And I just feel like the energies are such with Leo, because in the sign of Leo, it's ruled by the sun. And so that is our very vibrance that we bring to life. And that plays out in so many ways, not just our personality, but the way that we get things done, the way we look at what is pleasing to us and entertaining in our life, the way we look to what is beautiful and our hobbies and just things that bring us joy. So there's such possibility for your life force, I feel like, with this new moon. It's a time to really dig in and ask the questions, because that's the thing with the new moon. We can't see it, but the energy is just as potent as it is at full moon time. It's like the two ends of the spectrum there. And it's almost more potent because we know it's there, but we can't see it. So then we have to go within. There's no other option. And so here is the beautiful symbol that goes with this new moon, that I feel, it's almost like we're stepping through a doorway, or there's a doorway being opened to you to adjust, I think, your life force a little bit. Because right now we're just like on these choppy seas. What I have to say, and I got to get this out of the way before I read the symbol, like the past really 3 weeks, and it's really been tangible to me anyway in the past week, the energies have been very sludgy, It's like some very shadowy sides of our life, of what we maybe once looked to as fun and invigorating and that it entertained us in some way, that we look at those things and we see them all of a sudden in a very different light. We start to see they've run their course, I think. And this can have to do with things that, as an example, this isn't actively happening for me, but, I know a few people who have just decided, I don't really care about alcohol anymore, for instance. I don't need something external to myself to be what propels more life force and fun and engagement in my life, And I've also had it happen where something that was a very, very high vibe service, and I don't doubt the intent of what's being offered, was an energy that you can have sort of beamed almost to your house or to your cell phone. And it's ingenious. It's really quite something. But for me, as an individual, as somebody discerning, making a choice, I put that energy beam on. It's a service that you can try out for free, and then you can purchase it as a monthly subscription kind of a thing. I don't doubt the intent of the creators of this, but for me, I found, I can't have that on, because if you're getting 600 hertz beamed at your house, literally to the coordinates of where your house is located, your physical structure, and therefore that impacts everybody and everything in the house. I watched what happened within my house during that time, and it was this crazy wobbly energy all of a sudden. And then when you go from 600 hertz within a setting out into the broader world, which is chaos right now, there's nothing steady about our world at the moment, there is an increase in backlash because you're literally like radiating that level of hertz, you know, that level of vibration. And then you go out and it's such a drastic jump, shift into what can only be seen as this very, it's not clear energy, and it's just, murky isn't the word, it's just sludgy. That's my word for it, which isn't even a word, because that's how special this energy is. It's like sludge, and you literally, that's like going from 0 to 100 in 1 second, you know, when you're talking about energy vibration. Again, for me, that wasn't a fit. And so to look at something external as being something that could add more good life force to my life, like I'll just add this on top like a big old spray of whipped cream on the sundae, but then it sort of falls off because it doesn't really have the proper underpinnings for that level of energy. I mean, 600 hertz is, I believe, the energy of love in vibration terms. So I just say all this because it's just been really heavy energy. It's been tough to discern and to even allow yourself to question, but wait, this is something really high vibe and it comes so highly recommended, you know, but then you got to look at it just for yourself. And it isn't denigrating anybody else's choice as to what they wish to have. It's just, this is the energy. It's very confusing right now. That's why I said it's sludgy. It's like there's nothing clear about it. It's just, there's no like clear pathway. There's no like blinking neon sign because everything right now is topsy-turvy. So that's why, like, I feel this is such an opportunity for a doorway that we can step through that has increased life force, but it has to be specific to you. I just want to keep drilling that home. It has to be something that you discern is best for you, and to know what that gateway, what that doorway looks like and what's contained in there, okay? So here's the beautiful symbol that goes with this. Now let's not talk about sludgy anymore, okay? I've had enough sludgy. Leo 27 is the symbol from the Sabian set. The luminescence of dawn in an eastern sky, in the eastern sky. To me, I mean, it just speaks of clarity. It speaks of a new beginning. Always within the Sabian symbols, if a direction is indicated, the eastern has to do with sort of those ancient sort of methodologies, which just overall, I just want to say simple, clean, pure, but personal also, which is also tied to the energy of Leo. Leo is interested in its own personal expression, and that we should all get to be that unique expression that we are. But this just speaks of this dawning of a new day. So I did ask for some deeper meaning for this as well for us, and I used the Flower of Life deck that I have. And this card called Symbols came up, so I'd like to read this to you. And this is true for everybody, no matter which card you picked. Symbols are the language of the universe, our subconscious and the collective unconscious. As you move upon your life path, everything you notice is a sign from your higher self to heal, balance, and enjoy your life. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. That's such a Leo term. Let's embrace it. You have the ability to read and understand your own signs and symbols. This is your secret language, your wise guidance, pointing you in the direction of your dreams and desires. As you understand and accept this, the whispers of your heart become louder, and information will come to you in various forms and ways that may surprise you. However, you will recognize this information because of the way it makes you feel. It may feel like tingles or a knowing you can't explain or understand at the time. However, it will feel significant. And what I want to say about signs and symbols is when it says you just know, you know. And I would say that anybody listening to this reading, you have a gut feeling. And it's just within, people make spirituality out to be this big thing, and you go on these retreats and you go and not talk for a week, and I'm not dissing any of those events, but that you don't have to do that to have just to bring more meaning to your life. You don't even have to call it spirituality. I think it's becoming loaded, that word. I'm less apt to use it these days. It's just adding more meaning to your life. It's wanting some sizzle with the steak, It's wanting to be able to open yourself to see something deeper, to see something more. Because what we see in our world that is reflected at the moment is it's very easy to go to a knee-jerk reaction about things that are occurring. But let's step up our game. Whatever happened to your Leo self, let's enjoy our life. Let's add to our life force, not take away from it, because we're just knee-jerk into arguing our point, or how could they possibly believe that, or how could you vote for that person, or well, whatever. It's more of that sludge. I said I wasn't going to talk about that. But it makes its way in anyway. It's because these signs and symbols, if you are aware, like you open your senses enough to say, I invite them in. What brings me more meaning? What brings more sizzle to my life? Leo is interested in the sizzle, and we all have Leo energy within us, and that's what this new moon is calling forward within you. And it literally is like a doorway that you can walk through. It's that tangible, it's that big, it's that much of a possibility of a new beginning that has everything to do with your life force. What is life force? It is literally how you bring yourself to this world. How do we get ourselves out of bed every morning with the sludge going on? It's really quite incredible if you think about it. How do we parent our children through all this? How do we find what's the right way for any given family? How to navigate these times, how to find some peace in a world that feels anything but peaceful. This has to come from within you, and that's what's being called forward. So the reason symbols is coming up is to look at those like players, like parts of a story. It's I'll give you kind of a one of my examples that just happened. I was listening to a reading yesterday. This is a reader that I listen to every week. I'll give him credit. It's called the Angel School. Barry is the name of the reader. He's excellent. He goes into such depth, and I really appreciate that as somebody who listens regularly. So he just happened to mention this new book about, healing with unicorns. It's use of unicorn energy. No different than how anybody who's learned Reiki uses those symbols in a way that healing can be delivered to anybody in any form, anywhere on the planet or beyond. So he just happened to mention that, and just his brief, I didn't even hear another word he said on that particular subject, but it was just like I knew, yep, that's an energy I need to be connecting with. It's a knowing within you. And then sometimes you see things. You see a feather, you see a coin, you see, I see hearts everywhere. That's always a sign to me, like, you're in the flow. Remember your flow. Remember your connection. Remember the gifts you came here with. These are all players in this story that is your life. And that's what I call your big blue sky self, your higher self, that's reaching out to you. So these symbols are representative of that. And what they're offering you with this new moon is the ability to have enhanced life force, to add the sizzle. That's the best way I know how to say it. Because why else are we here? Why are you really here to just get up every day and go through the same old routine and just collect your paycheck and pay your bills and that's about it? You know, like, is that really all there is to a random Monday in the middle of the summer? You know, like, why can there not be magic then too, just as there would be on a trip to Tibet? You know, why can't that be equal energy that is just as activating, as sizzle inducing, as something that is a big player, a big symbol in your life, like a big epic spiritual journey, a big trip of some sort? You know, why? Why can't you take right now here on Sunshine Avenue, you know, in the afternoon on a Monday, why can't this be just as activating as being in Tibet, surrounded by beauty, of course, and high vibration and lots of other people that are of the same mind? It's really courageous to make that same decision right here on Sunshine Avenue in Little New Hampshire, you know, or wherever you are. And just look at these, you know, look at these mosquitoes all around me. This is the sludge. This is indicative of the way it is. It's like I was out here earlier, not a single bug out at all. And it's like, yep, this is how it is, because even you're just going to have all these sludgy little pieces and you're going to keep to your signs and symbols. That I can even use these mosquitoes as signs and symbols, players in the story that I'm telling you here. That all of your big blue sky selves are bringing in through me. Is they will be here and they'll want to penetrate and want to get in your ear and really frustrate you. But you just wave them away or smack them, and then you can carry on with. They're all a part of the story. It's all a part of it. This sludge is not going to go away, but it's a matter of how do we use the energies available to us to make our lives more, okay? And that's always what a new moon should be about. It's about making your life just more meaningful. And that doesn't have to do with having a lot of money, going on trips, having a certain crystal, or, you know, aura sprays, or some reading by some amazing, like, world-renowned reader. I mean, it's right here, right now with you. And it's about opening your eyes to these symbols, okay? It's this new dawn. So let's get on with our cards. First card up here is from a message from the fairies. This is Miracle Healing, and she's reaching for the light. Okay, and for those of you that picked this card, I thought it was interesting. What I noticed on my page is most people picked the middle card, so I'm interested in that. But those of you who picked this butterfly card, I feel like what I sense in your energy is just kind of a set energy pattern is what I want to say, of tending to, like, but I have to look at what's in front of me. I have to deal with this right here, right now. And that there seems to be a gap that I'm feeling and I'm seeing. Like she's reaching for that light of this new world, that mystical world, this earth that is depicted here is kind of translucent. And so it's like it doesn't, you might listen to my readings and be like, yeah, that's nice, Kat, but what about, you know, just, what about real life, okay? And I just would say in response, so how's that working out for you when you're really, really, and I'm my own best example on this, so I throw no judgment around on it. How's it working for you, Kat? You know, paying attention to every word that the doctors say in the doctor's offices. You know, when I go in for my appointments. Where does that take you? Does that add sizzle? Or does that add this sort of weight that you then carry around because it's reality? And so I have to face that, and I have to look at that, and I have to understand what this millimeter measurement means, or that test result, or whatever. I just say, and I say it to myself as I'm saying it to you who picked this card, how's that working out for you? Because there's no right answer on this. I got to pay attention to reality. I feel like that's something that you may not let yourself do, is to believe in. Like, even when you're in those settings that are reality, and maybe you don't really want to be looking at them, there are signs and symbols there too. They're characters. Your higher self is never not a part of you. I feel like that's what this reading is really getting to. You're never not connected to your blue sky self. It's always there. And even in the toughest of circumstances, when you've got rat ass reality, you know, in your face, and, you know, if you're behind on bills or whatever, I'm looking at the lawnmower, you know, if the lawnmower just broke down, or, you know, you need car repairs, or just these things, and it's like, okay, where has my energy been that all this breakdown is happening? All of this, like the sludge is coming thick and fast. And you just gotta question. I'm asking you with this card here, Miracle Healing, I'm asking you to believe in this, just like the new moon. We can't see it, but it is there. And it is actually what I feel is the most magical of all the moon phases. I'm actually a lover of the new moon over the full moon energy, because the full moon is just sort of like a culmination. You know, it's like, okay, and now I have a new truth. Now I kind of see things a little bit more clearly. It's just a culmination. And that's not where the fun work is. The fun work is actually in allowing yourself to reach for that translucent world that isn't, you can't touch it. You can't get to it with your senses, but man, you know it. Like when I was listening to that reader this weekend, and starts talking about unicorns, and I mean, I love horses. That's how I launched my business, but I don't really think about unicorn energy very much. And I'm elemental in nature, which is why they're connecting with me. But I don't think about that energy. But I knew in that instant, and you do too, these things, people say things to you, or you keep hearing this a story, you know, whatever it may be, you know, that has this certain outcome, and it's more than one, like, family or person that it's affecting, and you're like, the fact that it gets your attention, that's a sign and signal within itself. That is your blue sky self saying, bing, 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 bing. I see a connection here. I'm making a connection here. And it's something that you need to ponder, you need to consider. And those are everywhere, but you can't, if you're not allowing yourself to reach for and to even turn your head. I mean, she's like kind of still reaching back in this card, but kind of reaching forward. Allow yourself to be able to even bring that into view. I feel like you who chose this card may not let yourself have that, because you're more concerned with having your eyes on reality, and I understand it. There's a lot going on. But I just keep wanting to say, and I say it to myself. Again, I'm not pointing fingers here. How's that working out for you, Kat? Does that work out? Does that make you feel like a sizzle in your life? Are you happy that you're taking treatment and that you're still alive? You know, are you making the most of the path that you've decided to walk? Or are you so bound up in the reality that you can't even see these symbols that make life on a random Monday feel like pure magic. Like, wow. All the signs and symbols are there. The signs and symbols have to do with just this lightness, this clarity, and just they offer you a steady energy that you can really count on, that is not to be dismissed. So I would say the doorway for you is to really begin embracing this. Really begin embracing this sort of translucent world that is always there, but you may not let yourself take part in it. It's okay to take part in it. That's what the signs and symbols are for. Okay? And as I said, also remember, it's not just physical stuff like looking for feathers or hearts or whatever. This is also patterns of, like I've been noticing families joining up, like they're selling their houses and like families are moving in together. Very interesting. I think that has definitely got my attention. And just notice when things get your attention, because you're going to keep seeing those themes pop up even before your brain has made the connection. Your higher self is actively playing a part in that, okay? And again, the point of it is ease and joy and connection and engagement with life. It's everything that Leo is, which Leo is ruled by the sun. It is life-giving, okay? It's a very positive doorway to step through. The second card, which most people picked, a lot of people picked the middle card. Oh yeah, Major Arcana card. I've been seeing this come up this week in my house. The Devil, okay? All right, in the Tarot, people have, so I just want to get past this. The Devil is not just like the Death card or the Tower. Chill out. It's nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't mean you're possessed by the devil. What the devil really refers to is when we're too attached to like, but this is the way it's always been. Or it can be belief systems. It definitely can be earthly things, like being so materialistic that you're driven just by that, or just by the title you have at work, or just by these achievements that don't really, again, I want you to think deeper to what I said in the intro. Where is the sizzle? Is the sizzle of your life really have to do with the amount of money that you make? Again, question yourself. What about a random summer afternoon in August in the tiny state of New Hampshire? Like, why can't that be just as much sizzle as a trip to Tibet? You know, or Machu Picchu or whatever. Amazing. Those are amazing places. But what the devil says is you don't need to have those very well stamped out versions of spirituality or higher vibration that other people may point to. You don't have to have those in that form in order to create your own sizzle. You can do it at your home. You can do it in a prison cell. You can do it anywhere. It doesn't matter, because you've got you with you. And like when I look at an astrological chart, you've got your soul self, that's the horizon line in the chart, and you've got your physical self, which is the meridian. That's how I read charts. And it's the blend of the two that makes the sizzle. You just know in your heart something that feels so good. And it doesn't, what the devil has to do with is that it costs X amount of money, or everybody says this is what you should do if you're starting on a spiritual path, or this is what you should do if you're in this religion, or this is what we do here on the earth. This literally depicts, from this deck, it depicts Vietnam, both those that were, you know, invaded, you know, of those we warred against, as well as, the soldier. And like that you have to pick a side, or there's so many things related to the devil. All of them, though, keep you chained. And that will never be your blue sky self. Your higher self, just like the wide open blue sky that I'm looking at right now, never ever sees any restriction. It doesn't see that we have to take sides, and you have to vote in this way, or you have to go on that trip, or you have to have this crystal, or you have to, whatever it is. These are rules that are quickly leaving the planet because they're becoming ridiculous. When you are fighting energetically, you don't even have to say anything. You don't have to type anything. If you bring a fight energy to it, guess what? There's going to be a defensive energy coming back at you. So this card to me says that blue sky self part of you says, this doorway offers you the opportunity to let go of those chains, which you can do anytime. You are not bound. You're not even bound. What I want to say is with how you learn things, like that you might start off learning Reiki, for instance, and then go in a whole other direction. It doesn't mean that you're not a believer in Reiki. It's that your inspiration, your blue sky self, through signs and signals, is leading you somewhere else. But if you just walk the protocol loop like everybody else does, well, not everybody, so many people though, and I certainly see it with myself, and you look, I want to bring up what I said in the intro, you look to outside sources to be the source of that sizzle that I'm talking about. Like when I'm sorry for any of you vegetarians out there, this is probably like really offensive, but it's the only way I know how to express it because I want it to be tangible to you. And I think about, I think it was at Chili's that I first had this happen, where they bring out the skillet thing when you have fajitas or something, and then you've got that sizzle going on. That's what I'm like. It's so good that it literally makes your mouth water. It's just, and it's literally like, it's just something that is a sign and a signal that is so clear, like, oh, this is gonna be good, And those of us who love to cook, when you're doing something that is like in a pot, like slow cooking, even doing beef stew. Again, I'm sorry, vegetarians. But you want to get that crust on the meat, before you dredge it in the flour and then get that crust on it. And the amount of that richness that it adds to it, because you took the time to create that sort of extra flavoring. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that for your life. And when you're just following, like, okay, I got to do this and then this, and you're like you're not really finding it that enjoyable, and it's the same as that service I was mentioning in my intro. No offense at all to the people who came up with that. And it works beautifully, I'm sure, for many people. But you have to be discerning for you. So much a part of the devil energy has to do with that we just blindly walk in the steps of somebody else and think that, yep, I got to do it like this, or I'm not evolved if I don't do that, or I should like going this, I should like having a service like that. But it's then being open. Signs and signals can also tell you, because I saw a lot of devil energy then show up. What I mean by that is just really lots of outside energies coming in to help people in our household feel better. Like it took a really wonky turn in the energy, And literally I spent like 3 days trying to reset the energy in our house. And I'm pretty good at resetting energy. But that's how powerful a tool like that is. But it's not for me, because it felt like I was essentially, even something very high vibe and something that comes highly recommended, even with that, there's a sense of you being handcuffed in the process, okay? Like I have to like this, or I have to do this because this is a good thing. But then I'm like, yeah, but maybe not for me, because I'd rather have my own homegrown energy. I've spent since 2014 carefully procuring the energy within our home. And I just kind of threw that all away when I went the route with this other outside tool, okay? Now we got more distraction, sludgy energy. There's the weed whacker. Card number 3, fulfillment. I have not seen this card ever, and I've been using this deck a long time. Joy abounds in all areas of my life. And this is your blue sky self. I want you to think of yourself as this person with a big open heart, lounging in this flower that is just there. Your higher self has you. Even amongst the noise and the distraction and the chaos, this is what looking for signs and symbols, and again, doesn't have to be a physical thing that you're looking for. It's little themes in your life that show up, okay? They're telling you something that brings you more ease, at least that could bring you more ease. I want you to constantly be discerning for yourself, though. Notice any themes that are coming up. Just bounce it around in your heart for a little while and say, I wonder if there's some element of that could be helpful for us, that could be useful, you know, that is telling me about a future direction or something that maybe I decide I want to look into. Any of those kinds of things. Understand, it's just, I keep hearing, it's a very soft energy. Your higher self, again, this is a general reading, but you're all kind of broken out into these buckets when you pick a card, or several cards. You can pick more than one. But I want to say there's just such a softness that wants your attention from your higher self. Because I feel like you've been bumping around in a really harsh world. And we all have to some extent, but you picked this card for a reason. You didn't know what it was. But again, your blue sky self leads you in these readings as to what you're drawn to. And I just feel like no matter what I'm seeing in my mind is you're bumping around, and it's like you're going into these spikes. They don't penetrate you, but they like zing you with this sort of energy that's not helpful. It depletes your energy field. It's actually, these spikes are not touching you physically, your physical body. They're bumping into your energy field. And that creates punctures in the energy field, which then drain. So then you don't have the opportunity to bring the wholeness of your life force forward. And you certainly don't have the chance to add sizzle to it if you're constantly letting it drain out. And again, I hold in a place no fault around this. These card readings are just right here live with you. But what I'm feeling is that's why your higher self really wants your attention with this new moon, is what have you done for yourself lately? Have you even, what I think about with this, have you even taken just a cleansing bath for those that are lucky enough to have a tub? You know, like just a really nice salt bath. I love the mixture that my nutritionist recommended to me, which is a mix of 1 cup of baking soda, 2 cups of Epsom salt, and I put like a couple of good handfuls, like a little batch of the Himalayan pink salt, and then I put some drops of whatever oil, usually lavender, in my bath, or sometimes some real, I feel like I'm really treating myself when I put actual flowers of the lavender plant in my bath. When is the last time? Again, this does not, there's so much with this reading that has to do with understanding that it doesn't have to be Mercedes level, you know? Something simple like that, or simply going to a river or a lake. There are all kinds of places. Of course, I'm speaking here in New Hampshire, but, you know, across the U.S., anywhere, there are places to have access to water, even if it's just a boat launch, you know, that you can just, what if you just put your feet in the water, you know, like, and just actively ask that the flowing energies of that body of water be absorbed into your body, and allow that flow and well-being to be yours. Again, you're trying to get away from these spikes that I see that are puncturing your energy field. I feel like they're draining you. And this Leo new moon is here, like, and Leo is represented by the lion. And it's funny, speaking of signs and symbols, I just saw a beautiful picture of a lion. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll have to put that in my post on Facebook, because it's just, what I sense is this doorway opening, and Leo's just in like, roar! I've had enough, damn it. I'm not letting my energy field keep getting punctured. I just can't do it anymore. And what you may notice is maybe you're a little bit more edgy. Maybe you tend to like just kind of snap a little bit, and certainly faster than you normally would. You don't pause. Sit back for just a minute and take in the information, and then make your discerning decision for you. That's key in all of this, okay? But what have you done for me lately is what I'm feeling out of this card. Very simple things to add to your routine, and really paying attention to your energy field. And with this new moon, you can actually do a bit of a ceremony as we're in that energy. And I would actually call in the lion energy to be sort of an ambassador for you. And just ask. I now, ask these energies of the Leo new moon to fully fill in my energy field with life-giving, life-affirming, life-sizzling energies, and to make sure that, to ensure, I'm trying to find the right word, to ensure that no further punctures are made in my energy field. You can keep your language as simple and straightforward as whatever feels right to you. But I would definitely call in the lion energy, very strong presence, to be there, just to be witness to it, and be someone that, it's an energy that says yes, and you may and you will have that right here, right now, okay? And then to take the step, the inspired step, watch for signs and signals as to what brings the sizzle, and keep it simple. It's little things that we do for ourselves that makes such a difference, okay? Have a wonderful new moon, everybody, and I will hope to see you next week for another reading. Bye-bye for now.